That lion doesn't even have a chance of getting out of that cage. See, they gave that lion both cages. The door's open.
Hey, cheetah! Get up, wake up! Get me up! Whatever. Let's see the alligator! Go, go, go! Give me a gun! Give me a gun! Shut up, Kip! Oh, yeah. Ron's sleeping there. Yeah, they feed him right now.
Look at this.
Oh, wow. That's a female. This is so pretty.
And put your hands in there. It's not a horse, Frank. Zebra. No.
Yeah, it's a horse.
Horsey! No way. Horsey! Can you pet that one right there? Can you pet that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not zebras.
Probably really wild.
Yeah, but wow.
Oh, like that one. Like that one.
Pretty good. Zebra. Doesn't look like a zebra.
It's a zebra. It's a different type of zebra.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Real quick. There you go.
Pet things up there. Petting
With that, you got to get some breathing.
They're turning their heads and stuff.
See himself in the mirror.
According to look at him.
Hi. I want one of those. I want a thing too.
I'm sure you like one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta do it.
That is the monkey.
Oh.
Let her care. You won't want it.
Look at him.
Right, guys, you can check it out.
See him, Tina. He grabs it. Aww. Okay.
Gross.
Aww.
Didn't need telephone wire. What? Oh, that's very wired. It's hungry.
I don't have nothing long enough to.
Oh, look at his tail. I ran. That means something worthless.
Look at him wagging his tail. Look at him. Oh, look at him. Wagging his tail.
That's what that maybe is about. Harry knows.
Look at their little ears. Look at that little ears.
They got really little ears.
Look at him.
I saw him. Then he was making a cigarette. Look at him, Steve.
I know.
you.
I will get you something. Will you just wait a minute?
Don't run it. Not put the long in the face.
Okay, what can you buy to feed them? Okay, what about the hell?
Put on the watermelons. I know that little girl. She has to
Cordy, pick him up. I knew he was going to be afraid.
You get a bottle?
Yeah. Here, Brandon.
What is a bottle?
Brandon!
I need a baby bottle.
You didn't even wait till you got it. Yeah, I know. Give me the 2 quarters. You go get 4 of your own crackers. Stand over there and ask them. Here, Cordy. I did give him 1. Don't keep. I don't have any.
Hey! You give me one. Yeah,
Here, come up this way. Good? That little kid.
Here, get a picture.
What?
Get out of there! I'm a whale.
Now he's losing it. Now, come on, you piggies. Now, this is getting ridiculous. Here.
I'm giving this in.
You want to pet him?
Come up here, Brandon.
Yeah, you just got. You gotta go around the circle.
Right down there. Say please.
Oh, heck, I want this one.
Should have had a wide angle here.
Yeah, I forgot the brown. Come here, Kip.
That's Sammy. He's just.
I don't have nothing.
Go in over here.
Ready.
Just go.
Just a minute.
Where's Dylan?
No, wait.
No running, Samantha.
I have to do this, please.
Here, let me get you another thing, crackers.
What do you think I
Get him another cracker.
Good, Jess. Go on over here with me.
I'll give you a
Yeah, that's one big dog.
Going. Get going.
Cordy, little ones.
The baby.
Aww.
Over there. See him? Here, take this. But don't give it to this one. Right there. Where's that little pygmy one at?
Is that a deer mom?
Here, Bubby, come here. Cordell. Come here, get this little guy over here.
Oh, okay. I see you right there.
Check out these horns.
There you go. Cordell's getting a kick. Give me one, Tina.
Give me one too. No, give me one.
Go up there and feed that little goat.
Whoa.
Uh-oh, one's tried George. Get a picture. Where's George?
These aren't babies, I don't think. I think they're little pygmy goats, I think is what they're called.
They're fighting.
Oh, that's fine.
They're cute, aren't they cute? Oh, look how they stood up like that. See him stand upright.
Give me one. Look out.
Give Billy that, like.
No. Don't be Billy.
Joseph.
Billy Joseph. Go.
Ooh,
you know
something.
something.
Yeah, look at Billy. Hey.
Here, Bubby. Here, buddy. Here, buddy. Dawn, look. Here, buddy. Here. There you go.
Bubsy won't bite you. I
Yeah.
want some more. I want some more.
I don't have no more crackers, Bubba, now.
Dad. Dad.
Boy, they make up the money in them crackers. Oh, look. What's that neat? Look at him.
Guys hit me.
Who hit you?
Guys there hit me because I was gonna pet him.
He hit you?
Yes, with his horns.
Oh, just stay away from him then. Look at these two.
Hey!
Where's Chris? There goes.
I like how they stand up sideways.
Your time.
Yo, Brandon's swinging at you. Say, hey, Brandon.
Look. Yeah, look at bringing his tail in there.
He thinks
I got something delicious for you.
He doesn't have
George, you missed it. He jumped up.
Come in now, black up. Got more? Got more? Mom, you got more?
What is this? We get to pet.
What?
Brandon said one ran into his back with his horns. he was irritated. He hit Brandon right in the back.
Did it hurt?
Scared him.
Brandon, look at that dog gosh. They're running away from you. He has macaroni and cheese. Time for to get a shave. Oh, I got one. Oh,
Spit at her. Have a man spit at her.
Mommy, I see a circle.
Yeah.
That one there.
It's me.
Want a big kiss, Brandon?
I found one of these.
Okay, I would like to welcome you to Lake Tobias. Now, the area that we're in right now is about 200 acres enclosed with an 8-foot fence, with somewhere between 500 and 600 head of adult animals right now. The animals we are seeing on the opposite side of the fence are some of our native Pennsylvania white-tailed deer, and they were one of the first animals out here that were started having fawns this spring. Now, female deer or doe will become mature during their second year. They'll be bred in the fall of the year and have the fawns in the spring in either May or June. At that time, they're going to have either 1, 2, or 3 fawns. Twins are going to be the most prevalent, and they'll have the twins or a single birth the other 25–50% of the time. Most of the ones that you're seeing down here are the females. All the animals back here are going to have a reddish color right now, a reddish tint to their coats. That is their summer or natural coats. They do acquire a gray, a dull gray, or a dull brown color in the winter time. It is a good bit thicker. You can't see a whole lot of difference between the male and the female deer right now, because the male deer back here have only lost their antler sets from last year about 3 weeks ago, maybe even less than that for a scattered bunch of them. If you look here, the fellow that's eating down in here, you're going to see when he lifts his head up, you can see about 2 inches of growth right now. They're in their velvet stage, which takes between 12 and 16 weeks. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on the trip. Now, as you can see, these animals are separated from the rest of the animal herd out here. There is a very good reason for that. Even though they're the native deer to Pennsylvania, when in captivity, they are more susceptible to some of the diseases and parasites that we have in this area. So we do have them separated so we can do a couple of things with them. For one, they are wormed about 6 times a year. Also, they are on a very special diet. Now, this is the same diet that Penn State has their deer herd on, and they've been developing it over the last 20–25 years or so. Now, this is a joint cooperation between the two of us. It has selenium, vitamins, minerals, iron, lime, just about everything in it. High protein content. We mix this up in our own oats and molasses compound. They have access to it 24 hours a day. Besides this, they have 14 acres to graze on, so they have it pretty good in here. Now, the white-tailed deer breed, well, just about any deer breed for that matter, can live 12, maybe even 15 years. However, you'll find in the wild the average life expectancy is only about 5 or 6. There's a much larger stress factor in the wild, plus the fact there's a lot of hunters around, it also adds the stress factor. That's going to tell something to everyone. Even if you're one of the human race, you sit back and relax a little bit, you're going to live a little bit longer. Now we did have a few big ones back here. We had, I believe, 4 of them that had over 6 points. Now I know those 4, or maybe more than that, will have at least 6 points this year. And we had a 6-point last year. We also had an 8-point, but the 6-point had about an 18-inch spread. That's a pretty nice spread for a deer in captivity. He may be an 8, we may even have a 10-point back here this year. Hopefully they'll have some nice spreads on them too. They are the largest herd of animals out here. There's about 250 of the adults split up between the male and the female, about 50% of each. Now the fallow deer do come in 3 different color phases, as you can see, a white, a spotted, and a brown or black phase. Very distinct phases. These phases do not intermix, and it's no type of subspecies, it's just a phase of the deer. A female deer can have any color phase of the fawns. The difference will be the dominant gene between the male and the female deer. Now if you look closely on these animals' antlers, you can see they are deeply into their velvet stage. If you look closely, you can see that fuzzy-like film going over the antlers. That is their velvet. Now under that fuzzy-like coating, there is a massive supply of blood running through the antlers at all times, causing a very great growth. In fact, the deer that we're seeing right here, the fallow deer, and some of the other deer breed out here, the elk and red deer, their antler sets can grow up to 1 inch on a given day. They grow very fast. This is the fastest growing tissue known to man. Now the female deer will only ever have a single birth every year. Strangely enough, 90% of all the females of the fallow deer will have their young in the 2nd week of June. So if you come out here in the 2nd week of June sometime, you're bound to see oodles of these little critters running around. In fact, if you're lucky during the trip, you may even see one being born. Now you'll no longer find these deer roaming freely throughout Europe. They're all in parks, zoos, or animal farms. However, they do roam freely in the United States right now. They were brought over 20, 30 years back, and they adapted very well to the natural climate around here. You'll find them roaming freely in Texas and different scattered sections of the United States. Now the fallow deer do look like a relatively small deer breed physically, and they are. They only get about 200, maybe 250 pounds at the most. They produce quite an antler set. Now what I have up front here, if I can get it out of here, this is a fallow deer antler. By far this is not the largest one we got out here. This is about a mid-sized fallow deer antler. The antler can get 10, maybe even 12 inches wide at the palm and be probably about this high. I had one in my other bus. There's another 10, 12 inches added onto that. They can have anywhere from 15 to 50 points going around the antler sets combined. Come back here in September, these things are going to be completely grown, and they are going to be huge on some of these fellows. Just like you can see on some of the elk and red deer that we have, their antlers started growing about 2 months earlier than the rest of them. This velvet stage takes about 12 to 16 weeks, and if you get a chance to reach out and touch the antlers, go ahead and do so. You'll find that they are very warm and soft to the touch from all that blood running through them. As you look closely on this antler, you can see lines running through it. That's where the blood vessels were going through at the end of its development. But what I am holding here is 100% minerals, calcium, magnesium. Go coal black in color. If you look on this big psychedelic buck here, you can see on his antlers it's more like a skin coating or a leather coating going over the antlers. For that reason, it's not nearly as much blood going through. Therefore, you'll find the antlers aren't going to go as far. You'll only ever find that a psyche deer will produce an 8-point rack, and that is considered a trophy rack. And we will have at least 4 male deer out here that will have